This year, it seems, our setbacks are not just confined to colliding with uncharted rocks. Lack of power at the new docks in Cordova is proving an obstacle to seeking solutions for other unexpected problems, prompting our departure for Valdez. Along the way, we pass Bligh Island and Bligh Reef, named after Captain Bligh of Mutiny on the Bounty fame. It is interesting that using just a lead line, Cook found, charted, and named this reef in 1786, and the Exxon Valdez found it again 203 years later in 1989 with catastrophic consequences. A fish opening in the Narrows brings many purse seiners plying their trade. Navigation marker number 13 serves as a rest stop for seals. The town of Valdez was relocated from its original site at the head of the bay after it was destroyed by the tsunami formed by the massive earthquake in 1964. Clouds hang low over the mountains on the approach to Valdez, which is of course the terminal for the Trans-Alaska Pipeline. These tugs must now accompany laden, double-hulled tankers as required from the outset in the original agreement. Valdez also has built an additional new harbour since we were last here. Unlike Cordova, Valdez is connected to the outside world by road, and there is much to see in the vicinity. We had hoped to hire a car, but sadly there were none available for at least a couple of weeks. Most of the vessels in this marina are commercial, but there are a few pleasure boats among them. The following morning, a shy sun peers cautiously through the mist. Overnight, the vacant slips are filled with purse seiners, with their rough and ready skiffs perched precariously on deck. Access ramps are steep to cope with high-ranging tides. Here they have a built-in snowplow on the roof, are robustly constructed with side screens to protect users in heavy snow. The harbour bustles with activity, but we have our own work to do. All vessels use a wide range of products purchased from third parties. Venture has long served as a testbed for fresh ideas and equipment. Not all are successful. Our latest house batteries are not performing as intended. We had a planned rendezvous in Cedar Bay with Nunatak, whom we had met near Bainbridge Glacier, as described in an earlier video. We decide to keep that date and see how Venture performs away from shore power. We leave Valdez in thick fog. Fortunately, this lifts in time to reveal ice floes carved from the Columbia Glacier. We also encounter Boussole, the Nordhaven belonging to the couple we had first met in Juneau last year. We enter Cedar Bay and proceed with extreme caution after our earlier mishap. Christine serves as bow lookout. It is hardly reasonable to expect that every single rock in a remote area, like Prince William Sound, would be accurately charted, especially as the earthquake of 1964 raised some portions of the sound by 35 feet and lowered others by 9 feet. This charted but barely visible rock serves as a handy perch for seagulls until high tide. We spend a wonderful evening aboard Nunatak, but the overnight performance of Venture's batteries is such that we need to move to a less remote environment without delay. So we bid a hasty farewell and feel our way back out into open water on a falling tide. Rocks previously awash or submerged are now well clear of the water.
Current's going out right now.
Christine braves the rain. Wind and waves increase once we leave the protection of the cove. We plan to head for Hitch and Grip entrance, but it's a rough ride, and we decide instead to stay within the lee of the islands and make for the western end of Montague Island and anchor in Hanning Bay, where the sun is breaking through the clouds. Another abrupt overnight change in the weather. The surrounding mountains are spectacular. It is right here the land was uplifted 35 feet, and the tops of the mountains an amazing 60 feet during the 1964 earthquake. The forecast remains good, but we delay our departure until midday. Departure time is determined by desired arrival time at destination. For example, not wanting to arrive in the middle of the night. We take a direct route to Cape Spencer, more than 60 miles out from a shore you would not want to be close to. Again, we think of Cook and other explorers, with no charts or weather forecasts. We are very lucky to have such calm conditions. Here is what the same water looked like 60 days later, with waves 35 feet high at 15 seconds interval. After 44 hours underway, we make landfall at Cape Spencer at the exact same time as the cruise ship Sapphire Princess heading for Glacier Bay. Our crossing has been 445 nautical miles, at an average speed of 10 knots. Cape Spencer Lighthouse stands lonely guard over the entrance to Cross Sound, an icy strait. We have a distant view of the Brady Glacier, which extends 24 miles inland. On our AIS, we notice Blue Pearl at anchor at a local bay. We are familiar with this Fleming 65, so we detour to say hello and talk on the radio. There is much wildlife in this vicinity, including this rocky islet favored by seals, cormorants, and seabirds. There are numerous whales in these waters. These groups are bubble feeding. We anchor for the night in Coot Bay, within Funter Bay, on Admiralty Island. Overnight there is another abrupt change in the weather. Raising the anchor requires much maneuvering. We completed our 2-day crossing of the Gulf just in time. We pass Point Retreat Lighthouse and find calmer conditions under stormy skies on our approach to Juneau. We meet an outgoing Norwegian cruise ship. A range of massive ocean vessels line the harbor. A realistic whale sculpture decorates the shoreline. The marinas are packed with boats. Venture is allocated a slip in Aurora Basin. Along the waterfront, ships of enormous size overwhelm their Lilliputian surroundings. Here, in the capital of Alaska, we are still 1,000 miles from home. We need to keep going. Over the next 10 days, Venture travels the remaining distance down the Inside Passage. After 20 years of cruising, from the Aleutians to Nova Scotia and Prince William Sound to the Galapagos, Venture now has over 78,000 nautical miles beneath her keel. She is now at Delta Marine on Vancouver Island, where she will undergo a makeover during the coming winter.